Right then, let's be absolutely clear. We're not here to peddle you some fluffy marketing advice. Oh no, what we're doing is deconstructing a rather fascinating playbook. This isn't about getting a few more clicks here and there. This is a strategic manual for, and I'm quoting here, market domination. So you need to think less team building away day and much more general staff briefing.
All right, let's get cracking. The source material sets the scene immediately, and it really doesn't do things by halves. See, you're not a manager, you're a commander. Apparently, you've already completed 9 critical missions, which is good to know. And this is the final brief. Place your flag. Subtle? It is not.
Now, in this particular theater of operations, the ultimate high ground isn't some muddy hill somewhere. It's a concept they call topical authority. The goal, you see, isn't just to compete. It's to be recognized by the powers that be, the search engines, as the one undisputed authority on your subject. The digital equivalent of the village know-it-all, but, in a good way.
Of course, every battlefield has its rules of engagement, and here they're dictated by the generals over at Google. The standard is an acronym, EEAT. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Essentially, Google's AI wants to know, have you actually done this before? Do you really know what you're talking about? Are you a respected voice? And can you be trusted? Fail that test, and you're pretty much out of the fight before you've even begun.
So, on to the campaign proper. Phase 1 is all about securing the beachhead, establishing that initial foothold. I mean, there's absolutely no point planning the victory parade if you can't even get your boots on the sand, is there? So your initial deployment, it uses 2 primary tactics. First up, you've got local SEO, which this playbook rather brilliantly calls the long defense. And that's exactly what it is. It's about digging in, fortifying your immediate local territory. It's completely non-negotiable. Then, on the other hand, you have paid ads, the surgical strike. This is your targeted firepower for immediate visibility. You get in, you get the clicks, and you get out. A very useful tool, no doubt about it, but, well, it's not how you're going to win the actual war. Now, all that firepower is a complete waste if you can't convert it into a proper foothold. That means forging strategic alliances, partnerships for reinforcement. It means ensuring your command center, your website, is a ruthlessly efficient, high-performance asset with military-grade security. And it means sticking to a simple rule. If key intel takes more than 3 clicks to find, you can probably consider the engagement lost. Which brings us neatly to Phase 2, winning the long game. The initial skirmish is over. Now it's all about consolidating your position and preparing for a sustained campaign of dominance. What's so brilliant about this is its brutal simplicity. On one side, you have a soldier operating completely blind. On the other, an officer with high-powered scope. The message could not be clearer. Data is your scope. Without that accurate intelligence, you're just stumbling around in the dark. Guesswork, as the playbook states, is simply not part of the doctrine. And look, here's a piece of intel that proves the point. A staggering 75% of first-time visitors find a place like this using a local search. Just knowing that one fact fundamentally alters your entire strategy, doesn't it? It dictates exactly where you should focus your resources, especially during what the manual calls the off-season reload phase. The final objective in this phase is to turn your visitors into loyal advocates, and the playbook identifies 3 key assets to do it. Email, that's your secure, direct line of communication, completely free from meddling algorithms. Content, that's your digital camouflage, proving you actually know your stuff. And finally, graphic design, which is the uniform of your brand. It must be immaculate, conveying absolute professionalism at a single glance. This brings us to the very heart of the playbook, the master plan, the single core doctrine designed to achieve that ultimate high ground we spoke about earlier, topical authority. It's called the hub and spoke model. And honestly, it's quite clever, really. So picture this. Your hub. That's your central command post. It's one massive comprehensive pillar article that targets your most competitive terms. Then you have the spokes. Think of these as your deep cover intelligence reports. These are super detailed articles on all the niche subtopics you can possibly imagine. They demonstrate that granular expertise. And finally, the links. These are your secure communication lines, and their job is to channel all that authority, all that credibility from the spokes straight back to the hub. See how it works? You see, the entire purpose of this intricate structure is singular. To signal to the AI, to Google's RankBrain, that you don't just know about the subject, you own it.
An algorithm just can't argue with overwhelming force, and this structure proves total and absolute mastery of the topic. Which leads us to the endgame: perpetual market dominance. Because according to this playbook, the objective isn't just to plant the flag, it's to concrete the flagpole into the ground, making absolutely sure it stays there, no matter what the competition decides to throw at you. This is achieved through a relentless, perpetual operational cycle. You plan, using intelligence to refine your targets. You execute, deploying new campaigns. You measure every single KPI with cold precision. And then, crucially, you repeat. All that new data feeds straight back into the plan. It becomes a self-correcting loop that never, ever stops. So the ultimate outcome of this whole perpetual cycle is to shift your entire operational footing. You move away from relying on those costly short-term surgical strikes, your paid ads, to owning a sustainable, compounding flood of passive organic traffic. This is what creates unshakable brand resilience. Your position on the high ground just becomes the default. Which leaves us with a rather pointed question, doesn't it? In a world where every single commercial niche has become a digital battlefield, you really have to ask yourself, how secure is your flag? Something to think about.